Hi everyone and welcome back to Hoopsa for a very special video. I'm delighted to be joined today by club ambassador and club legend Andy Sinton. How are you, Andy?
I'm very good, thank you. Very good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm very well, thank you for asking. Well, it's been an absolute roller coaster of a season, and there's a bit of relief that we finally got over the line. So I think you're uniquely placed within the club to talk about how the season's gone. So I'd love to get your overall take on the campaign and what it's been like from watching that from the inside.
Well, the overall campaign, I think it's been really, it's been a tough season. It was always going to be a tough season, right from the get-go. We knew that this was going to be challenging for a number of reasons. But yeah, as the season's progressed, every game's been massive. Every game there's been something on it. Couldn't afford any slip-ups or many slip-ups. Fortunately, when we did slip up, we were able to bounce back and to get across the line with a game to go against Leeds the way we did it. I think it was just huge relief. I think is the best way of describing it for everyone. But yeah, everyone deserves a lot of credit.
Yeah, I completely agree. Do you have one particular highlight or standout moment from the past 9 months? I think for a season that's been so stressful to watch as a supporter, there's actually been a fair few highs as well. And we ended so positively with 5 wins from the last 8 as well.
There's been lots of if I look at moments or games, I look at first home win when we won 4-2. Our first home win for a long time. You know, quite recently, the West Brom game I thought was a brilliant evening that showed our club for everything that it was. Where we paid tribute to Stan Bowles. I thought that showed a real coming together. The atmosphere was incredible, and I thought we put in an absolutely incredible performance. Actually, I know we only drew 2-2, but it felt to me it felt more than a win. So there was that one where I was very proud of what we did on and off the pitch. You look at the win at Leicester away, where there's 3,000 fans, and I think for the first time that season, I remember them singing "The Hours Are Staying Up," and so there was belief. Then you look at the Birmingham game where we fall behind and you suddenly have a negative thought in your head, but then Cookie gets us back 3 minutes later. Then Jimmy's goal late on, I think, unbelievable moment. But probably the best moment for me was the Leeds game, the Leeds performance, the manner in which we won against quality opposition. And, certainly when Linden scores to make it 3-0, I started to think myself, we are now safe. And let's enjoy the next 10 minutes or whatever it was. But now there's been, to be fair, it's been a hard season, but there's been lots of highs, there's been lots of lows. But I think everyone just mentioned, I heard you mention talking to Paul about the last 6 months, from where we were to where we got to in the way that we did on and off the pitch. I think everyone at QPR, and I include the fans on that because they were absolutely incredible for the period that we're talking about. I think they sensed, the fans, that probably the team were in a bit of a hole. They need to help us get out, and they packed Matre Loftus Road. They packed away games, stayed with Marty, the team, the club. Been incredible. So my overriding memory has been the incredible support that the fans have given us.
Yeah, it's been amazing this season. I think you're right as well. With the Leeds match, that result really did feel like a reward at the end of a hard season for both the fans and the players. And you touched a little bit on paying tribute to Stan Bowles. One thing I was thinking about in particular, obviously a huge highlight of this season has been Marty coming in. And one thing I've genuinely been really impressed by, alongside what we've done on the pitch, is how much he's connected to Queens Park Rangers in such a short amount of time. Whether that's quoting Alex Stock in his pre-match interviews, paying tribute to the late great Stan Bowles, and even asking yourself, as someone who knows what it means to play for QPR, to speak to the players before the Millwall match. I know that's something you touched on a little bit in the Rangers report back in January, but I just wanted to speak about that moment again for you. What was that like, and what was the reception like from the players when you gave that speech?
Well, it was a really proud moment for me, actually, because I've been at the club for quite a while. And it's the first time I've been asked to do something like that in front of the group. I think Marty looked at, I think we had lost, or we had took 1 point from 6 games over the Christmas period going into New Year. Millwall, we had just been beaten Boxing Day, and I know for a fact he was really disappointed with that performance. So he said a couple of things. He gave me sort of carte blanche to say what I wanted, really, but just give me a couple of pointers about what the fans wanted local derby. So to be asked to do it was, it was really, really, really special for me, to be honest. Reception I got from the players, I spoke for about 35, 40 minutes. Covered everything I thought they needed to hear and wanted, but there was a load of encouragement as well. I told them in the games they had come up short that, what we had done to Bournemouth in the first half, we had pushed Southampton, who were 20-odd games unbeaten at the time, all the way, barring a set play. Watford, we had come up just short the week before where we should have won. So there was lots of positives, but it was just about believing that. I think there was 19 games to go then. I don't think I know exactly. There was 19 games to go. It was just a case of, come on, we can get out of this. And but I've played a tiny little part in it, but it was a privilege to do it. But to watch the team go from then, I think we lost 4 in the last 19, won 10. Quite incredible. 35 points from that 19 games was really amazing. But the players, Marty, Xavi, all his staff, and everyone behind the scenes, actually, because let's not forget we had a January window, Christian coming in. Certainly took many people by surprise what we did in January, because I think everyone, Rangers fans, myself included, were led to believe nothing could happen. But Christian come in with his a fresh approach, thought outside the box a little bit, and I wouldn't underestimate the role that those four new faces played, because I've been in dressing rooms myself. When you're struggling a little bit, you want a little bit of a lift. So for 4 players to come through the door straight away made the squad depth stronger, made competition for places greater. Energy levels picked up, and I think from on we've started to roll, if that's the right way. So so going back to my bit of the privilege to do it, but the credit goes down to the players, the staff, and everyone behind the scenes. So it's been a real team effort, and I include a team effort with the fans because they've been incredible.
Yeah, no, I think it was a great touch from Marty and a great touch from you to step up to the plate and do that speech, and it clearly had an effect on the players with that 2-0 win. You touched a bit on Christian Nourry there. You've sort of jumped to my next question, which is perfect. So obviously Christian joined the club as CEO in January. As you said, that announcement was a bit of a surprise to quite a few, and being a young CEO, there was a bit of a questioning of his credentials at the time. I personally think he's really showed his value this season with some really strong decisions. We had that brilliant January transfer window, which has galvanised how we performed in the league. Loftus Road was packed out. We had kids for a quid offers, the free scarves, and this must be the earliest that we've seen a new QPR kit unveiled in some years. So, what's that been like working with Christian since his arrival?
He's been a breath of fresh air, actually. He's been really good. New, young, dynamic, different ideas, demanding. But that's good, because he's got one common goal that we're all buying into, and everyone needs to buy into. It's for the common goal of QPR pushing our club forward. And Christian deserves a lot of credit. He's got good staff, good people, heads of departments working alongside him, and delighted. And I think it's exciting times for QPR, for us all. So long may that continue. But no, he's been great.
Great, that's really good to hear. Yeah, definitely feels like positive days ahead. I'd like to touch now on your own playing days for a few questions. So, 2024 marks 35 years since you were signed by QPR. For a
Stop it.
fee, I thought you might say that. For a fee of £350,000, which was a substantial transfer fee in 1989, and a big jump up from the third division with Brentford. Did that amount of money put pressure on you to perform?
Not in those days. Never even give it a thought, to be honest. I just wanted. I was playing at Brentford. I was led to believe there was a few clubs looking. QPR, Trevor Francis, a lot to be thankful for. They were the ones that backed their judgment, but never even give it a thought how much I was getting sold for. I didn't give it a thought. 2 league step up. I just wanted to come and play. remember being asked on the Thursday when I signed, when do you expect to make your debut? I said, well, Saturday. That's what they've signed me for. I was a bit sort of confident in we went to Sheffield, won 2-0, came back here on a Monday. I'm looking out the window at the goal. I can still see the goal against Villa. So to score on your home debut in front of the fans was brilliant. But no, didn't feel pressure at all. I'm a great believer. Sometimes the pressure is what you put on yourself. You just got to go and perform. And hopefully I did that in my time here.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And of course, you went on to make 160 league appearances for the club, scoring 22 goals over 4 years. Do you have a standout moment from your playing days at QPR?
I've got many, I've just mentioned, well, obviously being signed, 3 days later, or 4 days later, scoring your first goal in front of the loft. I was part of a great team in the early 90s, a real top team with, I could list three or four, I can list the great Alan MacDonald, Ray Wilkins, what a player, what a man. Les up top was probably for 3 seasons the best in the country. We had a fullbacks, Clive Wilson, Dave Bardsley, almost like the modern fullbacks that play now at the highest level. We had a great team, we had a great camaraderie, we had a great togetherness, and we had a great manager and club legend Jerry Francis. So it's just brilliant and a privilege to be part of that. Individually, the Man United game away when we won 4-1, Dennis will be remembered, and quite rightly so, for his 3 goals. But to play my part in that the way I did and the way the team played, my only ever hat trick in my whole career here against Everton. The night we beat Arsenal here in the cup, Kenny Sanson scored, and I managed to seal the win. This place was, I think they announced there was 20 something thousand, and it felt like there was double that. The atmosphere was incredible. So there's lots of memories. But collectively, I remember, we used to come to Loftus Road. We used to beat Tottenham. We used to beat Chelsea. We used to beat Man City. We used to beat Man United. We used to beat Arsenal. It's actually incredible when you think back. We had such a good team, and happiest times of my career, for sure.
Amazing. You mentioned 4-1 and you also just mentioned Spurs. So when I told my dad I was chatting to you today, he wanted me to bring up QPR's 4-1 home win against Spurs in October 1992. So we're 1-0 down at half time. You set up the equaliser for Holloway, and then Rangers put away another 3 goals in 25 minutes. In his opinion, one of the most complete QPR performances ever. So do you remember much of that game?
I do indeed. I remember the first half, as I say, we're 1-0 down. But the second half, we played some unbelievable stuff, high energy. And I don't mind saying we absolutely ripped Spurs apart in that 45-minute spell. Everyone played their part. Again, the stadium was rocking. So, yeah, fantastic performance. But there's many of that. We beat Leeds here in the space of 4 days. We beat Leeds, who were the reigning champions, and we beat Man City 4-0, 4-1 and 4-0 in the space of 3 days or 4 days. It was incredible times. But we expected that of each other. We knew with the fans behind us here, this was always going to be a hard game for whoever the opposition was. So we used to really look forward to it and know if we played anywhere near we could, would win the game. And that's what we did more often than not. Special times for the club, special times for me personally. And yeah, I'm often reminded special times for the fans.
Yeah, amazing. And of course, you made your England debut while still a QPR player, and I think that was in a 1-1 draw against Poland. So how was that? How was that adapting from playing for Rangers? What were the tactics like, and did you find yourself having to do more defending playing internationally?
No, not really. You know, again, people talk about pressure. You put pressure on yourself. My thought process was I've been selected for England for what I've been doing for QPR, so go and do exactly the same. Unless I was told different. I played a few different positions for England. I think I played in my 12 caps. I played six different positions, which I actually take as a huge compliment to play at the highest level and 6 different roles. But no, love my time. Um, was I the best player in my position? Probably not. I always thought I was John Barnes's understudy, but I was just happy to to be involved. I was happy for myself. I was happy for my family, but I was equally happy for my club because I think that's recognition that you're doing well for your club. That's giving you a chance. And again, that team that we talked about, Dave Bardsley, I think, came through. Les was breaking through. So, no, special times, but privilege and an honour to represent your country. That's for sure.
Yeah, that's an amazing achievement. If I just want to know before we move on to chat about your work as club ambassador, if you could have played for QPR during another era, when would that have been? Any particular Rangers manager you'd like to have played under?
I would have loved to play because I've heard a lot. I didn't see much. I saw bits of it, but I've heard about it, and those players roll off the tongue. The mid-70s. Yeah, Bowles, Francis, Thomas, Clement, Parks, Gillard, Hollins, Leach, goes on. Givens goes on, and I've probably missed a couple out there, but to play in that side the way they played under Dave Sexton, speak to Jerry and the guys quite a lot, and they just thought Dave was a little bit ahead of himself, with the style that he played and the way he wanted to play, following the Dutch that everyone used to really admire in those days. They're special times, and just a shame that they came up just short of the biggest honour in the English game. But what a team, and they're still remembered fondly till this day, and long may that continue. And obviously, we've just lost the greatest one in Stan. And he'll go. I'm just looking across there, and he got the Stanley Bell stand staring back at me. What a player, but what a team he was part of.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And of course, you returned to QPR as club ambassador in July 2015. So I believe next season will be your ninth with the club in this capacity, and your role is all encompassing. You interview Forever R's inductees, you visit the community, and of course, you have your commentating duties as well. How has your role changed during your tenure as club ambassador, and what aspect of it do you enjoy the most?
Enjoy every minute of every part of it. It's great to be involved with the guys. Paul in particular, I'm sitting alongside. He drives a lot of what I do, and I've got him and his team and everyone at the club to thank for that. So it has evolved. It started off, probably just coming to every game and just being around, and it developed into commentary and community work and Forever Ours, which we're all very proud of. Mingling with fans. I love hospital visits. Could go on and on and on. It's quite all encompassing, but I feel very privileged, very honoured to come back to the club that I had the happiest times of my career playing. And if I can make a difference, the tiniest little difference, I'll be the happiest man alive, sort of thing. But there's a lot of good people behind the scenes here. A lot of really good people that work tirelessly. Yeah, we took criticism, some of it rightly so as a club over recent years, but I think the vast majority of fans know that there's good people working behind the scenes to push this club forward to get back to where we would like to be. We're all in it together. Do we get things right all the time? No, but I tell you what, we try our best. And that's what this season or the end of this season has been so rewarding for, because I can see signs now that we can start to move forward again.
Yeah, yeah, and I think the fans can see that too for sure. On the topic of commentary, you gained a new co-commentator this season, Tyler Morris. He came in January. How's it been working with him? You've definitely had a fair share of surreal moments describing to the viewers at home. Jimmy Dunn's 92nd minute screamer against Birmingham screams to mind.
Now Tyler, Tyler's come in when he came in, and he's been a joy to work alongside. He's really, for someone so young, he's really good. He's got a brilliant manner, very knowledgeable. Bought into the QPR thing, if you like. Understands what the fans want and need, but we felt ourselves on commentary saying to each other, this is a big game, this is a big 45 minutes, this is a huge last 10 minutes and stuff, and it's because it has been. But no, Tyler's done great. Really been a pleasure to sit and to stand alongside him and share some brilliant moments. There's been a couple of disappointments, Stoke away, Sheffield Wednesday at home, the last few minutes of Plymouth, where I thought we should have won quite easily, but to get the points snatched away from us. So there's been a couple of those moments, but no, been really, really good, really enjoyable. I can't wait to do it all again.
Yeah, and I think, that's the overriding feeling for the fans already is, despite it being such a tense season, it's like, we want to do it again already. And, having ended this season on such a high, we're feeling optimistic about next season. But first, of course, there are a number of QPR players out of contract at the end of June. It looks like we're going to have a very busy summer under Marty. Don't worry, I'm not going to ask you for any transfer scoops. But where do you, in your opinion, do QPR's biggest priorities lie this summer?
Well, I think it will be a busy summer. You know, priorities. I think you've only got to look at where we were, and that's the case with most teams. I think scoring goals in general was probably our problem. I think at the back, incredible what we did at the back. Certainly under Marty, what was it, 32 goals in 32 games, 11 clean sheets. No one outplayed us other than probably Hull away when they beat us 3-0. I thought was the only time since the Marty and Zavi came in that we were probably outplayed by someone on a 90-minute game basis. Every other game we've been really competitive. No one's really opened us up. No one's carved us open. Some games where Asmir has been in goal and he's been pretty redundant, which was pleasing to see. But I think goals for was always a little bit of a struggle, and people have got their own opinions on that. But as a team, probably we needed to convert more of the chances that we created, if that makes sense. Then it would have been a completely different story. But any team down the bottom 8 or 9 are probably saying exactly the same, and that's the difference, But I think there's plenty to build on. We've got some talented players here, as everyone knows. So yeah, plenty to look forward to. There will be changes. I don't know what or who or what positions. I'll find out like you guys when that happens. But if we can build on what we've done, excitement. I think it's probably the right time as well, just to temper the excitement, if that makes sense. I'm the most excitable guy going sometimes, but okay, we've done great. Let's not get too carried away. Let's not suddenly start making wild assumptions of where we're going to be based on, you know, 1.5 points per game since Marty came in. I think the club's moving forward. I think it's important that we move forward at a rate and a pace that's sustainable and achievable. But you know what? It's such a competitive this division. You just get that consistency right, get the right game model in play, get the right coach, get the most from your players, keep people fit, get the fans behind you, and all of a sudden you start to roll as we've started to do. So yeah, without wild predictions and without going into who we're going to be signing or whatever, I'm really optimistic for next season.
Yeah, great. And to round us off, I think if I can get a bit of a flavour from what you just said there, but I'd love to get a super early prediction from you for next season.
What regarding where we're going to finish?
Yeah.
I'm always a great believer as a player and as when I went into it on the other side, the coaching side. Improve on what you did the season before. So read into that what you want, but what do we get? 48 points from 32 games. If you average that out, you're in the mid 60s. You're in the mid 60s. You're there or thereabouts from getting to whatever. But you know what? There'll be 10, 12, 14, 15 teams saying exactly the same. Great believer that what's happened has happened. You almost start with a clean slate, if you like, when you come back in the summer. The great Guardiola says that to Man City when they won the Champions League. He said, "Okay, great, enjoy your moment, but we start again in the summer, and we've got to be exactly the same. We just got to keep push on a daily basis to improve on and off the pitch, everything that we do, and see where that takes us. But now, exciting times. I know it's only 4 days since the season started. It's 11 days since we got safe, but we all have our downtime. We all have our little rest because that's important. But can't wait for August already.
Yeah, yeah, totally agree. Well, enjoy the summer break, Andy, and yeah, thank you so much for talking to me today.
Absolute pleasure.